Greetings, magnificent souls, to the Lilli Bewley podcast, where we have open and honest discussions about ourselves. This is your host, Lilli Bewley, and I'm honored to have conversations here with thought leaders, visionaries, healers, and even solo conversations with myself about things I am currently reflecting on. This is a place where we break down, break away, and break through our emotional trauma, allowing ourselves to be healthy, be happy, and live a peaceful life. We are tired of being sick and tired. We are tired, but we are not giving up. We know that there is something magnificent inside of us. And because we are fighting daily, hourly, and by the minute, fighting ourselves, our jobs, our unhappiness, we have to do things differently. We have to break the cycle. We don't have a million chances. We have to be happy now. We have to find a way. So how do we do that? How is that possible? If you look around at what society is telling you, they tell you that what we're doing is impossible. Yet it's happening every single day. And it's happening through the practice and the love that we call awakening the magnificent soul. We are all magnificent souls, and these are our stories of healing. Today in episode 138, a solo episode today about healing the scarcity wound. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts about this episode or anything you would like me to cover on future podcasts by dropping me a DM on Instagram. Remember, it is a safe place, and I would welcome the discussion. And also a request, if you are enjoying the show, please rate and share and review so we can get the word out to more and more souls who want to heal. And now on to today's episode. So this is for you if you voted in my poll on my stories on Instagram about kind of mulling over some episode topics. And this is a topic that you voted on, which is about healing the scarcity wound. So let's talk about that. What is the scarcity wound? To me, the scarcity wound is this really, really kind of dark place inside ourselves where we believe there's a really, really deep held belief in one parts, multiple parts, maybe not our highest self, but it's the thing that keeps showing up again and again in your dating life. And that's the idea that, this whole, things that I used to say to myself, for example, when I was kind of really deeply entrenched into the scarcity wound, which was after, a pretty good time of healing, put myself out there for dating and completely, getting disappointed a time and time again. There was a part of me that really believed that there are no good men out there, that the good men are already taken, that there are no emotionally available men, that I can't attract emotionally available men. And this is what I called and what I deemed myself, self-diagnosis, the scarcity wound. And I think it's so prevalent, as well as when parts of us really, really start to believe this, we start to give up hope. We start to shut down. We start to close our hearts because hope just feels maybe like a waste of energy, a waste of time. Maybe hope feels uncomfortable. So the scarcity wound was actually one of the last wounds, that is one of the deep-seated wounds that I really, really needed to heal inside myself. And this isn't to say, I always think it's important when we talk about healing, at least the way I think about it, the way I approach it with my clients, is healing is never done. Healing for me is a paradigm. It's a complete worldview shift. It's the knowing that anything I want in my life, anything better I want for myself, whether that be a relationship, a job, a business, better for my friends and my family, it's going to require me to do my next level of healing. So for me, when I talk about healing, I talk about healing where you are, healing for what you want, because that's all it is. It's the edges that we reach at our own specific capacity to get those things in life that we want and that we deserve and that we deeply desire. And I had recognized, for me, about the scarcity wound, I had recognized that, I kept saying this thing to myself, those things, there aren't many many emotionally available men out there. I only attract emotionally unavailable men. All the good men are taken. And what happened is that tended to show up in my life when that part of me really, really believed that. So that's what I mean. And that was like really, really one of the last things that felt like really, really big that I had to heal and had to uncover what the really root cause of that was for me. So if that's you, I got you. You're not alone, and it's completely normal. And it's hard, right? Because it really, really feels true to a part of us. It really, really feels true. And that's when, we kind of give up hope, and there's a part of us as well, when we give up hope, that kind of coaches us and is like, well, I deserve better, or F him, or whatever it is. So we talk about a lot of, different parts here, which is amazing. Like, all parts are welcome, which is dope. And if parts of you are resonating with what I'm saying, just sit with me in that. And healing the scarcity wound for me was a really, really younger, deep part of me that really, really didn't know anything other than strife, didn't know anything other than struggle, didn't know anything other than pain, didn't know anything other than hopelessness. And this was a part that, when I kind of recognized the scarcity wound in myself, this was a part of me that I had buried. I had buried deep inside myself. And I started to believe her. I really did start to believe her when I got to the point where I was pretty conscious and pretty aware, yet I still kept seeing these same beliefs and same patterns come up. So my look inside yourself would be, what part of you thinks those things? Likely it's not your highest self part of you. Your highest self probably knows that love is available to anyone, that you are a magnet. But this part of you probably is very, very deep, very strong, and has this this loud voice saying that these are true. And that's okay. Like, we are not here to gaslight those parts. Let me just say that too. In all of my work, we're here to bring them into new communion with ourselves, into alignment, into relationship with our highest self. So look inside yourself and check out what parts really believe these things that don't have hope. And what I would ask those parts too is like, where are you? What are you doing? And what do you need from me? And see what happens. I can say also, when I was really deep into healing this wound, I was in a program, and what helped me was being around other conscious men. That's it. There was one specific instance, and y'all, this is going to happen in dating you, by the way. So if you have the scarcity wound, join dating you. You get a 1 month free. Why not? For with the code LOVE 2023. But this happened to me in a program I was in where there was a bunch of conscious men in the room. It was a Zoom room. There was a bunch of conscious men in the room. And I knew by that point, like I really, really, I knew what my reactions were in my body for the most part by that point. And the minute that they came into this Zoom room, my body started shaking immediately. And that's when I elected to raise my hand, put myself in front of 20 or 30 of these, these strong conscious men, and cry. And that is all I did, was cry. And again, it's that titration for me from being safe and then a little bit unsafe, a little bit uncomfortable, but not totally uncomfortable, because we don't want to, recause any trauma or anything like that. But I knew that what it felt like at that point to put myself in healing situations. And so I put myself in a healing situation, and that wasn't everything that happened in healing the scarcity wound. A lot of it was about the parts work that I was talking about before. But if you are kind of feeling that there are no conscious men available out there, try to put yourself in situations where there are conscious men and they can see you and witness you and hear you without you sacrificing yourself. If they can observe you, they can support you, they can say, I'm here. One of my coaches did this with a friend of hers, a very like a strong male friend in her life. She said, I'm obviously paraphrasing her experience, but she asked him if he would be willing to hold space for her while she processed some stuff. And he was, without attachment, with love. And that was healing for her as well. So the trick for this is for that piece is to, number one, detach from the result, detach from your perfectionism, detach from controlling how you are seen. This is hard, y'all. This is hard, but it's so powerful. Making sure to titrate between, are you safe within yourself and am I safe in this container? Just being really aware. When, the example that I gave, like I said, I had kind of felt where I kind of knew where I was edging. Like I could feel it in my nervous system. I can still feel it, of course, in my nervous system when I'm personally kind of edging towards healing. So I knew it was what I had to do. Again, dating you is going to have these opportunities, which is so dope that I get to offer this to you. And maybe figure out a way to be around conscious men without crushing them on them and without them crushing on you. And if you need to set up a boundary to do that and follow through with your boundary. If you need to take a step back because you're crushing on someone else, do that and stay with it. This is such a healing experience. It really, really is. And like I said, it was one of the biggest shifts for me in the last probably 2 or 3 years of healing that scarcity wound. And I'm not saying again that experience was just a one all be all. It was a lot of work leading up to that. So again, drop in and dating you get a month free, but then, or just go to therapy, get a coach, help them, let them help you facilitate that discussion with those parts of you that have been hiding, that have given up hope, because likely, and this is going to hurt a little bit, likely they've given up hope on you, which is the scariest part, in my opinion. So let's try to have a relationship with those parts that don't have hope, that feel like they're in the dark, that feel like they're not understood, they're not seen, they're not heard, they're not welcome. Start to get in touch with those parts of you. And it takes time, repetition, consistency, support over a period of time is really, that's the equation for healing that I abide by myself and that I take my clients through. So I really hope that helps today, because there are emotionally available men out there. And I'm not trying to override your experience. I don't want to I understand where those parts of you are telling me the opposite. I get it. I've been there before, but I have also experienced in my body, in my soul, the knowing that is true. Not the override from abundance from a part of you that really just is overriding and clinching onto this idea of abundance, but the part that really, really deep inside knows that she's worthy enough, that she's enough just as she is. She's not too much. She doesn't have to perform. She doesn't have to be perfect. She doesn't have to control. She just gets to be who she freaking is. And it's absolutely possible. Hope that helps today. Love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to support the show. I welcome any support in the form of 99 cents a month, $5 a month, $10 a month. It helps me with production costs. It helps me with the energy that I put out with this podcast. It helps me, get a little coffee at Starbucks. I don't mind. So I appreciate that. I receive that deeply and gratefully. For your energy. I feel it. I feel the love, even though I'm just talking into a microphone. Don't forget to take the feminine dating archetype quiz if you haven't yet. Find out what your feminine dating archetype reveal your blocks to love, find your true love match. And like I mentioned, join me in dating you. You get 1 month free as a listener with the code LOVE2023. So why not? If anything, you will be testing out your healing muscles and you can see if it's right for you. And I would love to see you there. I love you. You are loved. You are supported. I see you. I hear you. I want to know that you're understood. And I get you. Thank you for being here.